Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Destiny on Death from Above. Today, we have a Legendary Max video for you on the Grim Citizen. The Grim Citizen is a low rate of fire, high impact auto rifle from the Crucible. This is actually a year 1 auto rifle that I didn't get in year 1 that they brought into year 2. So now I've got my second chance, and I've got a couple of these. I finally got a good one, so we're going to talk about it, do a Legendary Max video on it. So what I like to do in my Legendary Max videos is take a gun in Destiny, can be an exotic, can be a legendary, talk about it, we'll go over the flavor text, we'll take a look at the base stats, then we'll get into some PvE, or we'll take a look at my version, then we'll get into some PvE and some PvP gameplay, talk about it. I'll give arbitrary performance grades based on my experience that mean nothing, and you should not pay attention to them. But if you want to join me for that, feel free, because here we go. So the Grim Citizen reads, "The grief and horror of Twilight Gap drove some of the finest guardians in the city to elevate their art." I'm sure Grim Citizen is a reference to something that I don't quite know. I didn't do any research on that name, but the flavor text definitely alludes to some lore in the game, so that's pretty cool. It does have the high impact, low rate of fire archetype for an auto rifle. Pretty decent range, nice stability. It's one of those high impact, low rate of fire auto rifles that's just good. Base stats, but it's not the most amazing. Reload's pretty decent. But it's a year 1 gun that they brought into year 2 that you have the opportunity to get from a Crucible package. So let's take a look at what I got. Now my Grim Citizen, I've gotten a couple of them. This was the best one I got, and it was a little interesting, so I thought I would get it. Or I thought I would level it up and do a video on it. So it is 330. It has the red dot ORS that I've been using a little bit. Interesting. Accurate sight for precise fire. It has the quick draw IS and the ranged lens. The ranged lens I don't use too much on an auto rifle, because auto rifles tend to bounce around a little bit too much and they don't have the range for that. So there's no real reason. I've been using the quick draw a lot too. I like that on an auto rifle. It reminds me for some reason of the Midas scope, even though the Midas is like a ranged lens. So it's kind of weird. I like the hoop design. But mine came with focus fire, speed reload, oiled frame, rifled barrel, and army of one. These three right here, it's a no-brainer. It's going to be rifled barrel all day, because all you lose is reload. So that's a pretty decent setup right there. But the other two just increase reload, but you reduce the range, which, no, you don't really need fast reload on an auto rifle. I can get some gloves. But the two talents that made this one interesting, one was the focus fire, one was the rifled barrel. Army of one is always a good talent. Don't sleep on it and don't forget about it. It is very decent. Never throw it away just because of Army of one. Army of one's pretty good, especially on a warlock when you're going to throw grenades all the time. So I feel like this was a good combination when I got it. I leveled it up and had interesting results. It didn't amaze me in the ways that I thought it was going to, but it amazed me in other ways. So the high impact auto rifles with focus fire, they become like a Suros regime, that type of really slow rate of fire situation. So let's get into some PvE and PvP gameplay, and we'll talk about it. So in PvE, this is where I was surprised. In PvE, I thought it would just be a normal gun, use it like a normal gun, fire, you know, reload, shoot the enemy, whatever. No, the thing that you don't realize about a focus fire auto rifle is when you put focus fire on, you essentially double your magazine size. Not only do you get more damage, but it doesn't reduce the mag size, so your mag lasts twice as long because you're firing twice as slow. So it becomes a very large mag, and as something on the high impact auto rifles, I've always felt like the mag sizes were too small. So having a good size mag is very nice, especially in PvE. I could go from enemy to enemy to enemy to enemy. Just clear out a whole group with this 26 round clip, just, you know, 1 or 2 shots per enemy, and they were done. So I thought that was really interesting with this setup. But I like the high impact auto rifles. They're a lot of fun. I prefer them in PvP over PvE. So that was interesting. Next, let's talk about rifled barrel on an auto rifle. It was very interesting. It gave me ridiculous range, like range I've never had on an auto rifle before, because of the low rate of fire, high impact, and then the good range already, and get rifle barrel on top of it. I was shooting things from distance that I cannot understand how I shot them from that distance in PvE, but it was very interesting. So it's almost a scout rifle. interesting situation because the stability is not quite good enough, but the range is very good. So that I thought, hey, this could be an amazing PvP role. So I took it into some PvP. Let's talk about that. It wasn't. It was good. It was definitely good. With the right hands, it could be very good. I don't know that I would call it a god role. It's a very strong role, very workhorse. If you wanted to use it and get used to it for a while, it would become a very dominant situation. So I liked it in PvP. For PvE, I would give it a B, probably a B plus. A B plus for PvE. PvP, the mag size was good. I found myself losing in situations where I was fighting a scout rifle with it because the scout rifle had the advantage of the stability, where I had about the same range, maybe a little bit less, but when I was up close, it was a little bit different, but I felt like I needed to be farther away. So it was in a kind of a no man's land of range situation where it had good range, but you didn't want to be fighting somebody from that range. And if you were up close, you kind of wanted to hip fire it to get that high rate of fire. So kind of a no man's land. If you can land a lot of headshots, it'll be a good gun. I would prefer it to have, if it had, instead of Army of One, if it had counterbalance, I would be amazed with this role. I would love it. But it doesn't. It has Army of One, which is a good talent, just not going to knock your socks off. So I think it's a good gun. PvP, I'm going to give it a B. Overall, is it a fun gun? I don't know. It requires further testing, I think. Could be a fun gun, but what do you guys think? Do you have a Grim Citizen? What is your role on your Grim Citizen? What do you like about it? What do you not like about it? And what other auto rifles would you like me to take a look at? So I'm always open to suggestion. I'm very suggestible, but I'm going to get out of here, guys. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Leave a like if you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you want to see more of my videos. And I'm Death from Above, and I will see you later. See you, bye.